I'm Kevin Coleman with the East Side Post, and I'm with Jeff Creed, Chillicothe Council member. What is your chairmanship?
I'm now the finance chair.
All right. There were 4 questions I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
So first, Mulberry Street as part of the improvements to Yoctangee Park.
So the committee assignment came to council as far as the cost of replacing that section of road, because we have to do a full thickness repair. To keep it in brick is going to be about $285,000 more than what it is to put it into pavement. So
and
the
that
question
involves taking up the brick and putting it back down?
Well, taking it up and replacing it with new brick, because that brick is not in good shape. So it involves replacing the brick completely with newer brick, because those pavers are well over 100 years old probably, and they're not in good shape. So that is $285,000 is to do a full thickness repair. Otherwise, go all the way down to the substrate, replace that with concrete, and then replace the brick that's on top. Or we could pave it for about $285,000 less. So that was one of the options. I asked for them to look and see what would it be if we just wanted to do brick pavers in the intersection, because you're going to have the visitor center there, and that came in about $170,000 less than paving, but that would not include putting brick on Mulberry. So we're still in discussions about that whole option. Obviously, a lot of us are very passionate about keeping the brick, keeping the history of the town, but we're also cognizant of the fact of what these things cost. So we're trying to measure those two things. The more money we spend on the roads, that's less money that we have to spend in the park with the grant money that we receive from the state. So we're just trying to work through that process and be responsible and making a good informed decision before we move forward with it. So we have not taken it out of committee yet. We're still working through those issues.
Okay, so what kind of timeline might this be on?
I would hope in 2 weeks we have another committee meeting and discuss it further.
All right. You mentioned a fire department memorial. Is that an annual event?
That's an annual event they do every year. It's usually on September 11th. It moves around once in a while, but it is on September 11th this year at 8:30 in the morning in front of Fire Station Number 1.
And it's just East Water Street?
East Water, yes. They're at 54 East Water Street. And it's an opportunity for the firefighters and families and members of the community to recognize the firefighters who have given everything to this community and have passed since their time with the department.
All right. And I believe you passed, no, that's at first reading, the new Unified Development Code.
Yeah, that's not mine. That's actually Dan DeMint's committee. That's Development Committee.
Okay, we can skip that then.
Okay.
And you were talking about, well, there's a lot of concern about the groundwater pollution.
Right.
And you mentioned that you're hoping to have a meeting with Ohio EPA.
Right. So a couple members of council and other members of the local government, city and county, had a video phone call with Ohio EPA just to discuss the issues and try to make sure that we had better understanding of what's going on.
And I think Mayor
Feeney was on that as well, right? And they did provide us with a fact sheet that gives a little bit more detail on what exactly has gone on and what's going on right now at that location, which is very informative, and it has a point of contact on the back of it, email and phone number to call if you have additional questions.
And that was available here at the podium.
Right, and it will be posted online as well through the city website. And we continue to ask them to do a public meeting for us in this community so that people can come and hear for themselves. Once again, we're not experts. None of us on city council are experts on this area. So we think it's important for them to come and share that information directly versus us trying to translate that information to the public. I think that they're working hard to make sure that we're safe. They're trying to do the right things, but I understand the community wants to hear that directly from them, and we're continuing to push to have that open meeting with them as well.
Do you think it's likely that they will agree to this?
I do not know at this point. I can't comment one way or the other. I know we've made the request and they're taking it under advisement, and they were to get back with us at some point, but we don't know when that will be.
And as a firefighter, you're very aware of toxic chemicals.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Between fires and hazardous material incidents, things like that, we've dealt with those throughout the years at the fire department. So it's good to be protected from those things. It's good to know when you have those things in place that you could be at risk and make sure you mitigate those things. Absolutely. Including
out in the environment and neighborhoods.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
All right, any other thoughts?
You asked about the Unified Development Code. It is a very detailed code. Like I said, it's under Dan's committee, but I've been very actively involved with him on that as well. It brings a lot of our building codes and things into one document to where they're not spread out all over the place. It gives good guidance for how we do things in the city of Chillicothe to hopefully make sure that we're doing them right and correctly. Had a lot of input from various sources to get us to this point, and we think we have a final document that we can work with at this point. And if we need to go back and at some point make some changes, we can always do that. But I think it will be a very good document to help Chillicothe continue to move forward.
And the city paid to have consultants work that out.
Yes, yeah. American Structure Point did that work for us.
All right. Jeff Creed, Chair of Finance.
Finance Committee, yes.
On Chillicothe Council, thank you very much.
Thank you.
My name is Stephanie Renner. I live at 98 Douglas Avenue. I did just have a quick question. I was under the impression that the EPA meeting would include public, but that didn't end up being the case. So I'm curious if there'll be an opportunity for that or why the public wasn't included.
I can just answer that real quick. There is a fact sheet from the EPA as far as what's going on down at Howmet, and there is a phone number and the email, I believe, on there for a point of contact. We continue to look for a public meeting and have asked for that. So we're continuing to try to get that. And EPA they are far more knowledgeable on this than any of us sitting at this table. So we're really relying on them to help guide us through this process. But please take one of those pamphlets up there. And like I said, there is a number and an email on there for a point of contact at the EPA if you have additional questions, because by no means are any of us here experts. So we're working through this the same.